nervous?
No.
Where's your answer?
Dennis Beckham, let the ball on! Dennis Beckham! Dennis Beckham! Dennis Beckham! Dennis Beckham! Oh! Oh, no! Oh, yes! He missed it!
Welcome to the Suffering from Joy podcast, World Cup edition. We don't actually have to talk about Austin FC this week, so hopefully we're going to have a little more fun. Canadian Football League is kicked off, if you can even call it that anymore. Stanley Cup finals are going great. Fantastic Game 3 last night. We're recording on Sunday, June 7th. So the Knights went out to a 4-0 lead in the second period, and then the Canes scored 4 goals in the third period, and then there was a goofy, terrible, how could you possibly lose on this goal for Vegas to win. So I suggested, unless you're watching World Cup games, to tune into the rest of that. But we're going to go through and tell you everything we think you need to know. Qualifier, we think, because we don't know a lot. But we're going to try, and we're going to try to prime you guys. I will also tell you guys we're going to do a World Cup challenge bracket. We're going to put the links in the show notes page so you guys can, sign up. We'll have prizes. It'll depend on how many people are signed up. Like, I don't want to put 5 prizes out there and then 6 people sign up, because then I'm going to feel really bad when I don't win a prize. So we'll go from there. But our esteemed panel this week, Brad, fresh off of running a charity event at a tiny golf course where I finally got to wear my bruised banana polo. How are you?
I'm good. I want to know, the one thing I don't know, because I only saw you guys play one hole, was your best swing of the day that on the hole where everybody was heckling you? Because it was a pretty damn good swing when I watched.
It wasn't my best swing of the day, but it was the one that unlocked that I remembered how to play golf.
All right.
So I hit a few more like that, a couple a little further and a little better, but yeah, that definitely helped. Troll. My wife shit talking me for several holes. Did a little bit, but having the whole team really behind me to try to ruin my self-esteem is really what pushes me.
I also realized I left a really good heckle on the table when I got home that night, and I was kind of upset with myself.
Well, do share since we're on the air.
Right in the middle of your backswing, I should have said Kansas has never done anything wrong. The whole state.
I don't know if I would have heard you. I would have heard it, but probably not processed it until the shot was over. All right. My teammate in this endeavor, Scott, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. It was fun to just, despite the humidity, be outside and walk around and have some beer and drink some, and hang out with some friends. We had a pretty good crowd with us as part of our group, which was fun, which is always more fun. And I'm still feeling good today.
Yeah, and our goal was we don't want to get only max score on every hole, and we didn't get max score on any hole. So
I can confirm you were nowhere near closest to the worst. I think y'all were about mid-pack as far as your score went.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah.
What
was the winning score?
The winning score was 4 under 23.
Okay. Yeah.
The second, there was a tie for second and third. So there was actually a 3-way tie for second and third. That we did a 3-for-2 longest putt off with a tiebreak rule, and that score was 1 under. So
26.
Yeah, but there were also a lot of 40-somethings and high 30s and things like that in there too.
All right,
on a par 27 golf course.
We were perfectly cromulent in golf. It was great.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. I hit a couple good golf shots. Perfectly fine. Couldn't putt for shit, but that's nothing new. Also with us today, you heard him a little bit, but joining us from, for some reason, New Jersey, Seth.
No, I'm in D.C. now, but I was in New Jersey earlier today. I've also had lunch in Delaware. I'm just a constantly moving person, so I'm stopping moving for an hour to record this. Yeah. But
yeah, keep the satellites from pinning in on you.
Yeah, I was about to say, make sure the drone strikes don't hit me. So yeah, no, and then I'll be I'm on the road a lot this month, but mostly for DC's for work, but most of the stuff is for fun, and I'll be in Guadalajara on Thursday night for the second match of the World Cup.
Yeah, since you kicked that off, is anybody going to any games? We'll start with you, Seth. I know you're going to a bunch, but...
Yeah, so I got 3 group stage tickets, so I will be at South Korea, Czechia Thursday night in Guadalajara. I will be at Portugal, Congo in Houston, and then I will be at Tunisia, Japan, and Monterrey, which will be the 1,000th ever World Cup match. And apparently they're going to do a bunch of special things for this. I have no idea what special things in FIFA means, but the game kicks off at 10 o'clock local time in Monterey, so 11 o'clock Central Time. It's a late one.
I assume it's evil, but
No,
maybe
but
they'll
it's
try to hide it from the
also
cameras.
no, but like it's normally what like 100 to 102 degrees this time of year in Monterey. Like a 10 o'clock kickoff is actually not the worst thing.
No, that's a good idea. It seems weird to me. And we'll get into this. Some of the like kickoff times are reversed. Like some of the games in Seattle are at like noon when they should be at 10 or something like that. But
Well, like
we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean the Seattle one. The reason it's earlier, it's Juneteenth, so it's a holiday for like half of the country, and it's a Friday, so it gives everyone an excuse to take the day off early. Works.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's on the West Coast. It's easier to just play those later.
Yeah, we'll get into all the time zone issues of this World Cup. There's a lot.
Yeah. I guess Seattle, climate-wise, is probably not as bad as most of the rest of the sites. But
yeah, we can
Brad,
play
are you any games? Go ahead.
Oh no,
Sorry,
I
go
was.
ahead, Seth, you were finishing.
I was just gonna say we could play the over/under game on how many Dutch people die walking 2.5 miles from Rice to NRG Stadium, even though the stadium game will be indoors in Houston. But this is why we're doing a lot of games at reasonable times and reasonable climates.
Yeah. Some of the photos coming out of like the Norwegian team is sunbathing on the pitch to try to acclimate to the heat and the sun, and the Scotland team is already talking about having to forfeit a game due to sunburn, and England is about to melt, much like their lovely Nazi ginger prince did when he fled Iraq for Las Vegas. Brad, are you going to any games?
Are we specifying soccer?
You can answer the question however you want to, Counselor.
I am going to 8 games of the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. So yes, I'm going to athletic events, just not the soccer tournament. Friends and I booked this trip. We went 10 years ago to Omaha. We loved it so much. We've been wanting to go back, and we booked it back in November, I think, is when we had our our Airbnb booked. So I'll be out there for days 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the World Series, watching 2 games a day.
That'll be fun. I assume you'll be, sitting there watching baseball, but like actually have the World Cup up on your phone.
To a degree, yeah. I have one friend in the group who watches soccer. Who's not like a hardcore follower. Nobody else really cares, but I'll have it on for sure. We usually actually do. So we have seats, but there's a sneaky little trick to the ballpark in Omaha, which is there's the overhangs have standing room under them. So if you get in the ballpark kind of when the gates open an hour ahead of time, you can stand right behind home plate and just hang out and have an amazing view, because the stadium holds about 23,000 people, and just really hang out there. And then you can set your phone down on the little ledge where your drinks go, watch the game, watch a soccer match or something also while you're watching baseball. So probably doing that. Probably take some Jello shots over at Rocco's in honor of the Troy Trojans, since Auburn crashed out yesterday. But Troy's only an hour south of where I grew up and actually almost went to school there. So that'll be my adopted team in Omaha. And unfortunately, though, I think the first game that we will see is actually Bama versus Georgia, which I'm not crazy about.
No, we had a lengthy discussion about some of these schools yesterday.
Yeah. So the bracket's shaping up weird. Like half the bracket is just going to be a complete car crash, and the other half of the bracket is a mini SEC tournament.
Okay. Are you just sticking to Jello shots, or are you going to do something outside of what the sorority allows you to drink?
This group, every time we get together, does at least one we do a steakhouse night, so I'm sure that'll be some nice bourbons and scotches or wines are consumed. But for the most part, it's not really a crew that drinks heavily. So we go in, we watch baseball, and at least one night we'll sit at the casino till 3 a.m. playing blackjack.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll get your not sleep in. Good.
Yes, exactly.
And also, not to divest too much from the World Cup, but I think one of the cool things about college baseball is how they do the College World Series, that it's always in the same place, and it has this like long-standing tradition of being in one place, and that is kind of unique for college sports, it feels like, and it would kind of behoove like other sports to do it as much as those need to travel.
It's as a baseball guy, it's legitimately like the single best baseball experience I've ever had in my life is going to Omaha for the World Series. It's better than going to any pro stadium I've ever been to. Most minor league. It's a great. Everything's right there. There's a ton of restaurants, bars right by the ballpark. It's all super walkable. Omaha's a really underrated city. If you're into playing some casino games at night, go right across the river to Council Bluffs, and there's blackjack and craps and whatever you want over there. Some really good restaurants, and it's just they host it in an amazing way. I highly recommend it just for a fun sporting event to go to, and the locals get into it. And there's a ton of people who have season tickets to the World Series every year who are like LSU fans. They just buy them no matter what and go and party every year. It's just part of their June every year, no matter what.
Wow, I can't believe that from LSU fans.
Yeah, they would like to party. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
To answer Devin's question, I'm not planning on going to any World Cup games, but I was thinking about doing some of the Austin FC viewing parties that like they're doing on like Auditorium Shores, which sounds fun depending on the weather and the humidity level. Because just sitting there and baking and or broiling doesn't sound that much fun.
No, I'm going to wait and see how the scouting report on those turn out, but I may go down there for a little bit. I'm avoiding anything involving a USA event. But I'm going to one of Seth's aforementioned games. Svaria is playing Holland in Houston. We are actually staying like right next to the stadium, so we're going to like have to travel out of our way to go to all the fan experience because we're not going to miss the fucking Dutch bus and go do all of that stuff. We're going to Lynx Rex like no fucking tomorrow. And then we're going to walk 2.5 miles from Rice to the stadium. And then I also, pre-bought tickets to Cabo Verde, who I ordered our supporters merch for today against Saudi Arabia, who I actually saw hanging out outside of the Rise game at the players' locker room at Parmer yesterday. Bought those as sort of like I want to make sure I go to one game, and now I'm kind of like, well, whatever. I guess we're going. But it'll be a good experience.
Yeah, I guess, was that the first time the Saudi team had seen women playing soccer?
That's my assumption. They did seem to like hide their faces, so maybe they didn't actually watch it. We're not going to get too deep into this before I say some shit that's probably going to come back to bite me. So let's do some broad brushstroke things here. We want to get into the games a little bit, but I want to start off, and Seth, you probably thought about this more than most of us. What do you think the biggest storyline, and it can be on the field or off the field, is going to be about this World Cup?
So I think that there are two obvious angles to take. I will take the non-political one to start. We had the most compact World Cup of all time in the last time. The World Cup was in one city. The stadiums were an hour apart from each other. We now have the most expansive World Cup of all times, with games from Vancouver to Miami to Mexico City to Toronto. 16 stadiums, 48 teams that have qualified, 12 groups of 4, a 32-team knockout, 104 games. This is the biggest, most expensive, most Americanized thing imaginable. So there's that. And then I think the political stories are always going to dominate the day. I mean, one of Iraq's forwards was detained for questioning at O'Hare for 7 hours. The Iran team is not allowed to sleep in the United States. They have to stay in Mexico and fly in and out on match days. There's just going to be some wild stuff along those lines that is a consequence of Donald Trump's 2026 America.
Yeah, I also saw Briel Embolo, who is one of my favorite tournament players, was denied his initial visa. I don't know if that's come through since then.
He is in his
nonviolent assault conviction.
It was, yeah. I mean, he had some pretty unsavory charges against him that were sustained in court, but I believe he has served his time for those, but that our government did not realize their records were up to date at the time.
Yeah, it sounded like there was some weird like timing where they got finalized like 2 weeks before his visa application or something, and I don't know the details of what he actually did. So if he's like a piece of shit, like don't. He
is a piece of shit. He's a great football. He's in the Mason Greenwood category.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like
no,
shoving buddies at a nightclub type of thing.
It was not as bad as Mason Greenwood, but it was more than shoving buddies at a nightclub.
Okay, we'll leave it there. So maybe he's a piece of shit and should have his visa denied. But
Everyone
just pointing out that it even happens to Swift players.
I am very much of the Pete Rose opinion. You can do whatever you want on the field. It doesn't mean I need to like you.
Yeah, fair enough. And then with that cheery anecdote, let's go to Brad. Your biggest storyline you think is going to unfold or happen or already happening for the World Cup, on field, off field, whatever.
I mean, to me, it's logistics issues.
Yeah.
I think the amount of people, the folks that are coming, and I do believe it's going to be fewer than normal for a World Cup as far as folks traveling into the U.S. from around the world to come and see games. But the average person who isn't from this side of the world doesn't understand the expanse of the United States. And how our stadiums are set up and everything. There's very few in the World Cup that are actually going to be like super accessible. And I just see that being a nightmare of a headache for a lot of the host cities. And it's going to play all over social media outside of the U.S. and North America, especially.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I do like that they're going to bus people out to a Buc-ee's, though.
I want to know if Buc-ee's had to pay for that, and if so, how much, just to get people out there.
Probably a decent amount. I think that's going to turn into the... Do you guys remember when, was it Trader Joe's bags got like huge in Japan or something? I think they're hoping for something like that where Buc-ee's turns into like an international sensation, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, not just logistics like city to city, but like within cities and near stadia, and it's not like you're gonna, nobody who's flying to Boston to like root for Scotland is gonna run a fucking car, get plastered in the parking lot, and then drive home like your standard Boston New England Patriots fan, right?
Yeah, like, and the thing is, as a fan, if you are a fan of a team and happen to get 3 games in group stage in the Northeast, you lucked out because you can take a train basically everywhere, and it's not going to be too crazy. But if you're on the West Coast, good luck figuring that one out, or having to buy tons of plane tickets to get everywhere. Well, unless you want to drive 5 days.
If the prices were... Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at England's group stage matches. They got, I think, one of the craziest draws. So they've been doing prep matches in Florida, which is an interesting choice. But yeah, they're opening matches at Jerry World. Then they go play Ghana at Foxborough, and then they go play Panama at MetLife. And I'm like, okay, so wait a minute. You have your fans are going to go from Florida to Texas to New England to New York to Jersey. Like, and that's just the group stage. And what's one of the crazy things about this tournament, especially if you're a third place team, like you could be sent all over the continent. Like the way that this 32 team bracket is really, really hard to predict who you're going to get. And FIFA, as a result, has withheld half of the tickets for the knockout stage matches that aren't the finals to hold them over so people can actually get tickets a few days beforehand.
To me, it's not even just for the people trying to get tickets. Like, good luck finding a plane tickets to certain places on 4 days' notice and expecting a halfway decent cost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The logistical nightmares are going to be bad, and I think the weather nightmares are going to be a lot worse than people think, especially based on where some of the matches are going to be played. I know there's been a lot of consternation about like hydration breaks being the norm, and games gone and blah blah blah. And I think we just have to expect that a little bit. I think the bigger storyline is going, and we've kind of talked about this a little bit, is going to be the absolute shit show that the fans are going to be able to put out on social media. Because the last World Cup also had that, but it was also in a country that didn't allow social media. And it was a time when not everybody could really travel there. In a slightly less, or in a country that does slightly less censorship, I think what's going to get out in the impressions of the U.S. in what should be a, giant display of quote unquote greatness. It's hosting the World Cup, which is a huge worldwide event. It's the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in July. Is instead going to be a national embarrassment that I'm not sure the U.S. is going to recover from for decades.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna push back on you on that a little bit. So that I think if you look at it, who's actually coming to these matches? So whenever there's a World Cup abroad, the United States always purchases the most tickets. Most of those people are not necessarily supporting the United States. They might be supporting Mexico. They might be supporting a whole host of Latin American or European countries. My guess is over 80. They're like, oh, foreign flights are way down. Yeah, because a lot of the people going to the World Cup live in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And these stadiums, yes, is Austria against Jordan going to be sold out in San Francisco? Probably not. But most of these matches are going to be pretty full. I mean, the ticket price market has not dropped as much as I thought it would by this point. That these matches are FIFA's going to make a shit ton of money. Yeah, we're going to do some stupid things, but I don't think it's going to be the cultural damage hit because the people who dislike America already dislike America, and there's plenty of valid reasons to do that. And I don't think a single match gets to the shit show level of the Copa America final.
I hope not.
Well, I mean, that's grading on a scale.
Fair.
No, I think the other thing, I think it's going to be less about the fans traveling and more about how media is going to cover it, because I do think there's going to be a lot of cultural interest stories based around fans trying to get to games or not, and the difficulties of logistics and travel, and kind of the reminder that like we just kind of don't have the same infrastructure that most industrialized countries have. I think the other but the other thing I think is interesting is big picture World Cup. As a reminder, this is a tournament that's been around for almost 100 years now, and only 8 countries have ever won it. And this feels like a crazy year where one of the non-8 countries wins.
Scotland.
I think if Portugal can get over their selfishness issues, they can win.
No,
I don't think they will.
The second they removed Ronaldo's ban, and they had to put him on the roster.
Yep.
They're fucked.
Have we considered, by the way, the date of June 16th?
Yes, we have.
Because the French national team is playing in East Rutherford. And that is a possible Game 6 with Victor Wembanyama in New York that same night.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA I saw on Friday night ain't making it to Game 6.
Fair. But holy hell, I want this for the city of New York, because the amount of French fans rooting for him against crazy-ass Knicks fans in the middle of Manhattan, holy shit, yes, I want this.
By the way, congrats to New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani for lighting up the Empire State Building in a completely nonpartisan way, because we all support Arsenal here. Scott, you were saying?
Oh, I was going to say, I don't think that series makes it to 6. Just to know. And
no, because Danhausen's curse is still going on, Scott. This is fine. We've established this.
There are so many curses working against the Spurs right now. You have no idea. Like it's just like a really long list. And I think at this point, like the Knicks have to be considered like the good vibes team.
Yeah, and I mean, they're on like an unreal, never before seen, like winning every game by 15, 20 points in the playoffs. Like, what is it, 13 in a row or something?
They haven't lost since
They
haven't lost since Devil Wears Prada 2 came out, because
they haven't lost since Danhausen uncursed them. This all goes back to pro wrestling. Everything is pro wrestling, Scott.
We're not going to untie this little, or pull on this thread a little bit more. Otherwise, it's going to take the entire podcast. But yes, I actually sort of agree with Brad. Everything is sales. Everything is pro wrestling. I'm going to go ahead and answer the fucking question we started answering about 15 minutes ago. And I'm going to sort of like fuse a few things together where it's going to be an interesting view of how people see the lack of, foreign visitors to the host countries. I'm actually going to be really curious to see the Mexico and Canada numbers compared to the U.S. Obviously, Seth pointed out like a lot of immigrants in the U.S. Somebody may want to tell somebody about that. That'll root for other teams other than the U.S. But also, like Seth mentioned, Americans always like tend to have the most tickets, but not just folks following other teams, but like U.S. folks tend to go and like enjoy traveling to other countries. So, if I live in Glasgow, do I want to go spend $1,000 on a flight, however many dollars on a crazy, lodging plan for 2 weeks in Boston, $100 on the fucking ride down there, and then $700 on a fucking ticket. The amount of money you're pushing in, like, to go to one of these events, if you're a fan of any team, is over the top. When you're like, well, fuck this, I'll just go to CONMEBOL, or I'll go to Euros or whatever. I'm going to be very interested to see how that kind of shakes out, because like the cost, even for, we were talking about like the distance between cities. Holland is playing their group games in Kansas City, Dallas, and Houston. I could drive to all of those easily, but the cost of, well, gas right now, lodging, and actually getting into the fucking games, which is going to cost as much as a flight for each person, is insane. And you're going to have people that are going to go, well, maybe I want to go to Miami, and so they'll go to whatever their team's game is in Miami, and then they'll just fuck off. Where like you have the World Cup in Germany or some place with actual infrastructure, you can just sort of like follow your team around. Rant over. So it'll be a fun thing. Do you guys want to actually talk about like shit on the field?
Sure.
Yeah.
You want to do high level, group by group? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's do some high level stuff first. Like, this doesn't have to be your official pick, but like, who do you view as kind of like the general favorite going in, Seth?
Right. I mean, on paper, the French team is the strongest collection of players. I just don't think they're gelling right now at the right moment. And it'll be very interesting to see. I mean, Spain is probably the second strongest roster, but the question is how healthy is Yamin Lamal at this point, and I don't know if he's going to play. Also, it is absolutely hilarious that Spain is training in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Like
I was going to say, I don't know if they.
Yeah. Yes, some of these training camp sites are absolutely hilarious. I mean, like Messi exchanging jerseys with Marcel Reed yesterday in College Station, and then like Argentina going to Auburn after this. Like, is Messi a 5-star recruit? I don't know, but who knows? Maybe we'll find out by the end of this. Maybe he still has eligibility left in this NIL world.
What's his knowledge of the veer and shoot? Because I kind of need to know this before I recruit him.
I'm not sure Messi has SEC speed.
The wide choice offense is tough, man. I need to know how you're going to act when the safety plays off.
He doesn't. He can't make that pre-snap read. He doesn't have it anymore. He's a reactor. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how to set everybody up.
I will say, though, as a guy who grew up there and went to school there, obviously, it's very wild to see that a soccer match at Auburn sold 80,000 plus tickets. Like, I can't wrap my mind around this.
I would be interested to see the like geographical breakdown of who's driving in from like Atlanta or whatever.
On a Tuesday night.
I mean, it's not like it's Stoke. But yeah.
But there might be rain.
Are willing to do that.
Yeah. And wind.
I know. I'll never forget the random German team match that we had as exhibition at Q2. Somebody drove from Atlanta to see their team play an exhibition game when there were maybe 2,000 people in that stadium. I will never put anything past fans of.
Are you disparaging FC Köln? So that's going to correct my pronunciation on that. And
yeah, Köln, yeah,
the goat. Yeah, Köln. Okay, I overdid it.
Yes, no, and VfB Stuttgart. Yeah, no, two pretty large teams, probably the two biggest club America's probably up there too, that have played at Q2, and there was like no one there because it was like a 40-degree day in November.
Yeah, didn't Stuttgart finish second like last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
They won the Pokal last
year. Going back to Seth's point, I think it's kind of interesting because all the normal powers I don't see as being as strong as they normally are. Like, I think there's questions about Spain and France. I don't love England's roster. Messi, we were making jokes about if he still has it anymore, and I think those are valid. I still don't know who's playing striker for Brazil. I don't know that they know either. And then you kind of look through the list, and it feels pretty open, and it kind of, I mean, a lot can happen in a month, obviously. Like, Spain can get healthy, or France can figure it out. But I don't know. I want to say Spain has the best roster, and at the same time, I kind of think Germany wins.
But also, I could see, like, that German team is looking okay. Like, they're not fully clicking. You know who is clicking? Obviously, friendlies are friendlies. But Belgium looks really good, and obviously they're a team that chokes a lot in these types of events, but like they look really good, and Doku is at its top point there. And you know what? The team that's going to have the best fan support in this entire tournament is going to be Colombia, and they're a great team. And if you have 60,000 Colombian fans in your stadium, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
I was gonna say I'm not necessarily picking a team, but I think the winner comes out of CONMEBOL because we've talked about the weather, and the closest climates you're going to find aren't going to be from the teams in Europe, the traditional powers over there. They're going to be closer in CONMEBOL. I think that's going to play a factor.
And
Something
they all played a Copa America here 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's going to matter.
That familiarity, and also that they have a more robust qualifying process. I think everybody else has kind of gone to this style of having seeded teams in groups, and essentially all the teams that are the top seeds automatically advance. That
Except
basically
Italy.
is how, and they got stuck with. I'm sorry, and Italy got stuck with Norway in their group, who just destroyed everybody. But if you look at CONMEBOL's qualification, Argentina had 38 points, and then 2 through 6 all had 29 or 28 points. Like, that was kind of a brutal qualifying, and I think that helps them in the sense of they had to really go through like a more difficult process to try to get here than some of the European teams where, frankly, their schedules are just a joke.
Yeah, but also Argentina hasn't. Yeah, but Argentina hasn't played it. They've played a really weak slate of friendlies, and they were so far ahead in their group. They haven't played a high intensity match in 2 years.
Yeah, just to piggyback on Scott's point, for those of you who don't know, CONMEBOL South America plays every game home and away for every country. And it takes a while, and it's not this, like, everybody knows I love Sfaria, but they shouldn't be in the fucking World Cup. They got there and through, like, a backdoor playoff bullshit thing based on the Nations League, which is a tournament nobody watches or understands or cares about. So, I mean, it's the fairest way if you can pull it off. To do it. Obviously, it's smaller federation, so it's easier. But yeah, I do want to kind of roll around to a different point. Like, kind of my big take on most of the favorites. You have your classics like England, Germany, France, Spain. I look at a lot of those teams and I look at their back lines and I'm kind of, I don't know if this is going to hold up. Especially you get tired legs, you get really tired in the heat. The kind of classical power that actually has a decent back line, but not a ton of forward power for once, is the Dutch. So I'm going to be curious how that plays out. But also to wrap into kind of what Brad and Scott were talking about weather, my big dark horse, I have two really for this, and we'll kind of go to you guys next, but my big dark horses for this are Ecuador, who I think has a much more stacked roster than people realize, and they've gone through that brutal CONMEBOL qualifying, not necessarily to win it, and I think we'll see kind of, those kind of knockouts like we saw from, places like Colombia in 2014, or Morocco, for example, in the last World Cup. They'll make noise even if they don't win. And my other one is Japan is sneaky good. So we'll see how those play out. And it has always seemed to, like, World Cups have a little bit more level playing field about, like, non-European teams against European teams when they're outside of Europe. So I'll be curious to see how that whole thing breaks down. But Seth, do you want to go next on your kind of dark horse or, any, dark horse storylines or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you named two good ones there. I think one of the other ones that is very funny that is weather adjacent. So in MLS and in almost every American sports league, you have a lightning strike and you are delayed for the next 30 minutes. FIFA has no rules like this. So it is unclear how this will navigate, that FIFA has no severe weather policy. We will see if that lasts the full tournament or not, but they're going to want to get in these matches.
Just like, my crazy lawyer brain going off here, but aren't those like tied to the stadium insurance policies, so they're going to have to?
We will. I assume that if there's a lightning strike that is within visible range, they will stop playing, but they might start resuming within 5-10 minutes, which they wouldn't do in other cases. I know at the Club World Cup they did follow some of those policies, but like the rules could be different in Mexico versus the U.S. versus Canada, stadium to stadium as well.
It's always fun when the rules are different for every game.
Yeah, you never know. And like I think some people are underestimating like how hot the East Coast gets, and like there are some afternoon kickoff games at MetLife Stadium. It is going to be in the 90s next week at MetLife Stadium. It is. It can be hot, humid. Like I mean,
That
it
is
is
a damn
gonna,
swamp.
yeah, and it is.
I mean,
Literally, yeah. And I mean,
yeah.
four-quarter soccer is going to be really interesting to see how teams make adjustments between the first and second quarter, third or fourth quarter of these games. Obviously, we're not calling it officially that yet, but like, obviously, there was the whole thing with Pochettino on the laptop in the U.S. Senegal match last week. But like, there's going to be the best coaches will be able to make mid-game adjustments in ways that they've never had before, and it dramatically changes the game of watching teams waste time leading into a hydration break. There's going to be all sorts of fun gamesmanship that I'm looking forward to seeing, even if I'm not looking forward to the breaks themselves.
Yeah. Yet another reason, Scott, why Portugal is fucked, because coaches will get to make adjustments. I did almost pick the quarters thing as my biggest storyline, but Scott, do you want to go next on dark horses?
Oh, yeah, I kind of wanted to mention, going back to the weather thing, like, there are some of the North African teams I think might do better than we think. Obviously, like, Morocco was the semifinalist last time, but, you know, like, Egypt ran through their qualifying really easily. Um,
Different
I
kind
want
of
to say,
different kinds of heat for me.
different kind of heat, obviously, but I do think that that might benefit them a little bit more. I do think my dark horse is Portugal as much as that, because I just think that they have enough talent to win it. And I think all of their stuff is more about like mentality than it is about like actual physicalness.
Yeah, I agree with you on talent. Just the literally everything else about that team, I don't believe in at all.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see if they can just like out talent it, and ultimately like having the best chance creator in the world as your 10 like does matter.
Well, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Like, if we're gonna go like raw talent our way through it, like I agree with Seth. France has the most talent, but they have a lot of problems. So I think if somebody's gonna raw talent their way through it, it's gonna be France. But we've been leaving Brad alone for a while. Any sort of dark horses or anyone you want to go for? Is Portugal really even a dark horse?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sticking with the region conversation, but it's Uruguay for me. I think if you look at their roster up and down, it's interesting, but I'm kind of just the way I look at this World Cup is where are you playing your club soccer? Like, are you used to these kinds of conditions? And you look up and down the roster, and it's a ton of teams that are, in the Brazilian league, a lot of Club America represented. There's the Argentina Premier League. So I look at this in their roster and I go, and there's obviously talent up top with Darwin Nunez, but I look at the roster and go, that is a team that can make a run. And they haven't made a serious run in 16 years.
So like a really funny combination. So I was starting to play around with some of the potential knockout matches. If Uruguay finishes second in their group and they're in a group with Spain, they would play the first place team from Argentina's group. We could have Argentina, Uruguay in Miami in the round of 32.
Yes.
Oh, give that to me right now.
That
I mean, they're going to walk through their group. They're in with Spain, Cabo Verde, and Saudi Arabia. Like,
yeah. So
they
it's
will
very
get through that group.
Should.
Yes, should, but like weird things happen. I mean, Saudi Arabia beat Argentina at the last World Cup. Like
That's
that
true.
did happen, and you get to a point where also in Argentina's group, the Austrian team is much better than people give them credit for. Like I would not be surprised if they win a knockout match or two. Completely underestimated team.
Yeah, the other team I was going to throw out was Norway as a team that breezed through qualifying and has like the upper end talent level to be able to do it. Of like maybe not to win it obviously, but I could definitely see them winning a knockout round.
I'm Norway curious. I don't know if I've seen enough that I really believe they can go like knockout level good, but I think they'll get out of the group easy. they have like superstar power. You have Holland, you have Odegaard, you have a lot of like very good like kind of mid-level players, Ayer, Sorloth, Oscar Bob, guys like that. But like I think when you get into kind of like the deeper levels, they don't have a lot of backups or depth or anything like that. And I don't know how many like switches and game plans they can have. Do we need to talk about their team photo?
Oh,
Because
Brad has not seen.
I mean, it
Brad,
that it
you
was the
haven't
best
seen
team
their team
photo
photo?
ever.
They literally all dressed up like Vikings from like a TV show, like they're about to go invade Lindisfarne.
Yes.
And so like they have like runic lettering on one of their jerseys. It's a whole thing, which I think is interesting that they're leaning into it when they finally qualified for a World Cup after like Denmark and Sweden have been qualifying for World Cups all the time, even Iceland, and not
This
doing
team
that.
should absolutely be training in like Minneapolis and getting that entire state behind them.
They should. Probably inadvertently have, but I mean Minneapolis is more Swedish than Norwegian, but I'm sure there's plenty there.
That is actually one of the big misses of this World Cup is that Minneapolis didn't get to host games because that stadium is right downtown. It's a beautiful venue. It could have been indoors, outdoors. That stadium should have been one of the host sites.
Has public transit access directly from the airport. Like,
I mean, if it was 12 degrees,
Really?
we would totally host a World Cup qualifier there, though.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do we think we're good on dark horses?
Yeah.
I don't want to dive too much into teams because I think we're about to do kind of group by group. But
I mean, I think we've done enough coverage here. Like, I don't know if we actually need to go group by group unless we want to have like a fun team we think is going to get grouped or something. But only 16 teams out of these 48 are even getting grouped.
Yeah, which is kind of fucking annoying. Although I really hope it happens to England because that's going to be the funniest thing that might ever happen, and we always love the funniest answer here. But I mean, let's go through and just so people know, and maybe we'll each kind of do a quick blurb. Seth, do you have them pulled up in front of you?
I do.
Okay, so let's go through and maybe we'll do like a storyline or like an obvious winner, or kind of like what the big deal about each group is going to be. That way we're not doing like analyzing team by team by team because one, I don't want to do that because I don't want to think about like Cabo Verde or Curacao or Saudi Arabia, and two, because nobody wants to listen to it.
So Group A is Mexico's group. Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, Czechia. I think it's one of the most open groups. Obviously, Mexico is expected to win because all the matches will be, with the exception of South Africa, Czechia are in Mexico. Mexico should win this group, but any outcome would not surprise me.
Yeah, and we have an echo of the 2010 World Cup where it's South Africa against Mexico as the opening match.
Yep.
Which should be interesting. So, the last World Cup is the first time any host country got grouped. I would be shocked if that happens to Mexico. But I'm with you. I could see this being like a 5 points, 6 points winner. Like Korea's a good team. Mexico's about the same level. Czechia can turn it on, although I think they're maybe a little old in some spots. But I mean, South Africa's the team going out, right?
South Africa is not necessarily a team going out. They have a golden generation. They have a bunch of 20-year-olds that they might not be ready for this moment, but like getting to watch Mbakazi play week in, week out in Chicago, he ain't going to be playing for the Chicago Fire after this World Cup.
Whatever happened to John Duran? Is he still stuck somewhere in Saudi Arabia?
He's in He is in I think in Turkey now.
Okay.
Yeah, we should check out where.
That's stratospheric rise.
Yeah, he's back with Al Nassr because he was on loan at Fenerbahce for the fall and then at Zenit for the spring. But I'm sure he will transfer somewhere else, and he is in this World Cup. And he is Galatasaray's top target for the transfer window.
Very rise and fall. Chicago Fire to Aston Villa to, what was he, a £70 million? I'm sure there's no shenanigans here. Transfer to on loan to a club that's not actually allowed to play soccer.
And he's still like 22 years old. Like that's the craziest part.
He's had a bit of a ride.
Yeah. So moving on.
Scott or Brad?
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to say about Group A, or do you guys think we covered it?
I'm very much happy that Mexico gets to kick the whole thing off at the Azteca. I think that's proper.
I'm disappointed the Mexico jerseys aren't as good as they normally are.
I think
the
it's
best jerseys.
I think it's ridiculous the final isn't at Azteca, just from a historical standpoint. And also, I do think this is one of the more open groups, and I think one of the other more open groups is Group B.
Good segue, Scott. Seth, who's in Group B?
Canada, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Qatar, and Switzerland. I think Qatar is. I mean, they actually legitimately qualified this time, but I still think I expect them to finish last in this group, and anything could be among the other three teams.
Will Edin Dzeko score?
Yes, because Edin Dzeko always scores. Did you see St. Louis fold with Bosnian fans yesterday?
I saw the. Well, I'm not surprised. I didn't see the whole thing, but I did see the bit about the coffee cup.
Yes.
Where they brought the world's largest coffee cup that serves like 800 people or something, or coffee press or whatever it was, that serves 800 people. So yeah, they're not messing around. And we mentioned this before, but St. Louis has the largest Bosnian community outside of the Balkans. So nice to see. And I'm glad they actually got some FaceTime there. Brad or Scott, you guys want to talk about this so it's not just me and Seth trading barbs about how he's wrong about everything?
No, that's fair. No, I think Switzerland's clearly the best team in the group, and I think Canada and Bosnia will be an interesting match. For those who don't remember, Bosnia defeated Italy in a shootout to advance, and where the entire world was rooting for them because that was the funniest outcome. And it would be kind of a good story to see if they do advance. I could also see them being a third place team that gets to go.
Yeah, I think that's where I have them as third place advancing. And they're kind of the interesting team, a little bit like Czechia in Group A, where it's like, well, I could see you getting 0 or 6 or any number of things. Brad, how about you?
So I don't think Canada's honestly that great this year, and was leaning towards them getting grouped. But then it hit me that they always play ridiculously well at home. And I think that's going to carry them through the group. But I don't see anybody out of this group honestly making a crazy run.
Yeah, I will also add that I would bet that FIFA is going to have some creative refereeing if any of the host nations are actually in danger of getting grouped.
Well, did Canada bribe them? That's the question.
Well, I mean, with their spying program, I'm sure they have dirt.
I mean, Canada, the vice president of FIFA is Canadian.
And the Prime Minister of Canada used to run, the Bank of England?
Correct.
So there you go.
Do we know what city is doing VAR? Did they put it in Arlington as well?
I think VARs are all on site, is my understanding, for the World Cup.
Okay.
So no Varlington. I'm sorry, Brad. I guess that's good for the U.S.
I mean, besides when they are actually playing in Arlington.
No, even then.
No. Then it's in Frisco.
Yeah, then it's in Frisco with the Dallas Stars.
It's at the Star.
Yeah. All right, Seth, take us away to Group C.
Group C is going to be one of the more fun groups. We have Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland. This should be the best fan group, without a doubt. I don't know if you guys saw.
And
Haiti brought 15,000 fans to Miami for a Tuesday night friendly delayed by 2 hours against New Zealand. Every one of these fan bases is very serious, and it's going to be some really good soccer played in this group.
The Scotland-Haiti pregame party might be the best one of the World Cup.
And it's a 9 p.m. local time kickoff at Foxborough.
Oh, my God.
I really wanted to get to that game, but the cost is just undoable.
What city is that one being played in?
Boston.
It's at Foxborough next Saturday night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 Eastern. Scotland, to get around the $80 MBTA charges, rented out every school bus in New England and is giving their fans $20 school bus rides to and from the Boston Common.
Scotland, party.
I don't know if the city of Boston has enough booze.
They don't. They're not ready. Not to disparage our lesser Gaelic cousins, but the Irish don't know what they're doing when they get involved with the Scottish, is all I'm going to say when it comes to the art of drink. So, that'll be great. I'm glad some of the Haiti fans actually like got into the U.S. because I know there's been a bunch of shenanigans about that bullshit.
But there's a huge Haitian community. A Haitian Creole is the fourth most spoken language in Massachusetts behind English, Spanish, Portuguese. There's going to be plenty of Haiti fans there. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere.
Yeah, I was gonna say between that there and New York, easy to get to from Boston, like that seems like it'll be prime. That might be a 50-50 crowd split there, actually.
Yeah, I'll also say that as Austin FC fans, we know not to discount teams from Haiti.
Yeah, I need to get an audio recording. By the way, if you guys aren't following Alistair McAllister doing some great pre-World Cup Scotland content, but I need to get a recording of the honky honk mixed with bagpipes for the next time somebody pisses me off so I can just play it super loud. Because that's going to be, like, probably the most annoying noise in history.
Speaking of Alistair, are we aware, by the way, that he is like a FIFA social media correspondent for this tournament for Scotland?
Yeah, didn't they interview him after the MLS All-Star game, too?
He's being like, flown to the games and given press passes and shit for this.
Well, I don't think Foxborough has pies. But we'll see. He always has something fun in store for us, so definitely follow him. Yeah, I mean, I think the smart play there is Haiti's going out, but Haiti's a good team. I know people discount them like year after year after year, but I think we might finally see Lawrence Shankland, who is definitely not going to Rangers, score a goal for Scotland in an international tournament, which I don't know if I've ever seen.
I mean, Brazil wins the group, but the other three are a metaphorical knife fight.
Yeah,
and it's going to be fun.
I think it's Brazil and Morocco probably win both the other two matches, and the Haiti-Scotland match and the Brazil-Morocco match are critical in determining placement.
Yeah, I'm a little like... Do you remember when Turkey in 2022 or 2002 made the semifinals and then they've been like dog shit since then? I'm wondering if something like that's going to happen to Morocco.
Could happen.
Yeah, so I think they're like vulnerable, but I agree with you. They have talent and could definitely make a run. On to Group D.
U.S., Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. Brad, you want to say? Yeah, I mean, this is a group
anyone can finish anywhere in this group.
Anyone can finish anywhere in this group. I mean, Australia looked pretty solid yesterday, getting out a point against Switzerland. I mean, they are not to be underestimated. Julio Enciso from Brighton did get injured for Paraguay as their team captain and is out for the World Cup, which is a shame. And we'll see how this goes.
Rodney Redis replacing him?
The fact that is like a realistic possibility is crazy.
I already have enough reasons to root for Paraguay against the U.S. Don't give me another one. No, I agree. I think this is one of the more open groups. I think that changes it a lot for Paraguay. And at the same time, I'm interested to see how the U.S. does when they are going to be forced to attack more and have more of the ball. Just as a general thing of how the U.S. tends to play better when they try to play a little more compact. And as far as depth goes, I'm kind of worried about the U.S. team's depth. More so because, like, if Tyler Adams goes down or gets a yellow card accumulation, who plays defensive midfield? And the same way that, like, we're so reliant on Robinson and Dest to provide attacking width from the fullback spots, and if either of them goes down, I think the U.S. really is in trouble.
Well, I mean, we're already limping out 40-year-olds to play center back, too. So anybody goes down there, we're fucked. We do actually have a few attacking options, which is new, but I think that's more of they're all sort of the same, like, mid to good, instead of just, like, we have a bunch of superstars and then a bunch of mid to good behind them.
It's a weird U.S. team that has a bunch of attacking options and zero goalkeepers.
Yeah, it's like...
that I trust. Like,
the reverse
zero.
of the Holland thing I was talking about.
The thing I look at with the U.S., and it's kind of a weird concept, it's not even a roster construction or anything. I think the U.S. is at a disadvantage playing 2 of the 3 matches in L.A. because it is not a huge home city for a fan base for the United States. If this was in Kansas City or something like that, I think you would have a much more U.S.-friendly crowd than you're going to have in that spot. I think the Seattle match, that Northwest has been clamoring for more U.S. matches. I think they'll have a pretty heavy representation. And don't get me wrong, there would be more U.S. fans than Paraguay fans or Turkey fans fans at the games, but I don't know that it's going to be as heavy U.S. as the United States Soccer Federation would prefer.
Counterpoint: the tickets to those games are really fucking expensive, and nobody's going to pay that to hate on the U.S. Seth, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there will be obviously some fans from everywhere, but it's just like they made those tickets too expensive. I mean, we had a 90-10 home crowd split against Germany yesterday, and it didn't make a lick of a difference.
Yeah, are they expensive because it's the U.S. or are they expensive because it's in Los Angeles and it's
expensive because FIFA is greedy and getting away with it?
Yeah, I hear you, but I'm just saying, like, it's also just kind of a place to be seen.
Yeah.
In LLA, and there's a lot of money floating around in that city compared to some other spots.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just like the atmosphere at SoFi kind of sucks. Like, I've never seen that stadium actually get loud.
Soulless Stadium.
Yeah, which compared to Seattle, which is one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL, right? Acoustically. Yeah. So I actually think that is a bit of a hindrance for the U.S. for those two matches there.
I can see it. I'm just sort of there are so many people in that region that the people who want to go are going to be the people that want to go. But I mean, time will tell. I do want to kind of take like a brief pause here. Let's talk about US a little bit. I don't want to dive too much, but I think Scott kind of nailed the tactical stuff. Width from the wings. You have some solid forward players. Like the starting mids are pretty good. The center backs are a little weak, but I'm with him. A little bit of depth issue. So let's go around and Scott, you can go ahead and lead us off. How far is the U.S. making it in this World Cup?
I think they win one knockout round and get eliminated because I think that's kind of just. I think it's kind of where the U.S. is just as a soccer country. Like,
that's where I'm at.
We're good enough to get out of the group, but once like the real contenders start matching up, like the U.S. is not a contender.
Yeah, I'm with you. Round of 16 is where we're out. Seth?
I agree with you as well.
Brad? Make it spicy.
Yeah. First knockout round, whatever that be, whether it's 16 or 24.
32.
Or, sorry, I forgot there's now 32 making it. So, yeah, I think round of 32 exit.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are like...
The back line to me is just too damn slow.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're going to get grouped. Like, there's no way.
No, I don't think they get grouped, but I just until the back line shows that they can actually like stop a goal from going in, I don't see it.
Going back to what we talked about earlier, if the U.S. is in danger of getting grouped, they will get the most ridiculous penalty call in the history of soccer on their side. That will undoubtedly happen.
Then we'll get Wayne Rooney to comment on it.
Hopefully. I'll also say this, like, consistently getting out of the knockout round or getting out of the group is also an achievement of the World Cup. Like, if you're doing that consistently every turn around, like, that ultimately is also a difficult thing to do because there aren't that many countries that do it.
I feel like it's diluted in a 48-team World Cup. But, yeah, I mean, good thing. And Qatar, I think, was the last or the only team who's hosted that hasn't gotten out of their group. Is that right, Seth?
That is correct. I expect all three teams to get out of their groups at this point.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Where are we at?
Group E. We have Deutschland, Curacao, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ecuador. This one, if it's not Germany, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ecuador getting through, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a third place gets out type of group. I could see Germany and Ecuador going 7-7 or something like that, and it coming down to goal difference or something like that. I was a little lower on Germany, but some of their players looked pretty good yesterday. Granted, they were playing the U.S., but some of the folks I thought needed to play well played well. So we will see. Seth is the easily biggest German fan here. How are you feeling? Are they like quarterfinalists? Are they like we could win the whole thing? Where are we at?
Well, if Germany wins this group and France wins its group, these teams play in the round of 16. I don't see Germany getting past this France team unless weird things happen. But France, Germany, July 4th, Philly. It's not USA, England, but it would be a very good very good way to spend July 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad, Scott, any thoughts on this group? I think it's pretty straightforward, but
Um,
Agreed.
Cote d'Ivoire has the like most beautiful team issued sports coats in the world. If you haven't seen them, you should go look them up.
what are they made of? Because they looked like they were velvet, and I thought that was like super hot looking.
I don't know. I just know I want one.
Okay, well, they're glorious. Look them up.
If anybody needs a Christmas gift for Brad,
Yeah, there you go. I know Carrie listens to this show. Um, all right, Seth, let's move on.
Group F is a very fun one. Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, Tunisia. Tunisia is actually a pretty solid team, but I would be surprised if they do not finish at the bottom of this group. Like, the ultimate chaos scenario is Sweden wins the group after not really deserving to have qualified for this World Cup, but, like, they have the talent to do it, but these are three incredibly talented teams.
Yeah, I think they're also limited by their coach. For those of you who don't know, Graham Potter, who was at Chelsea for a while, made his name at Brighton, just failed out of West Ham miserably. Used to coach in Sweden, and so for some reason, when they were basically like, other than this Hail Mary shot that they actually qualified through, hired him to be the national team coach for some reason. But we'll see. We talked about Japan a little bit as a dark horse. Holland's always good. I'm with you, Seth. Like, and especially Tunisia didn't look great against Belgium in their warm-up game. But I mean, their warm-up games.
Yeah, I mean, Tunisia has great fans. I'm looking forward to seeing them, but I also think the Japanese should be able to handle this. A funny thing with Japan is that they have been based out of Monterrey, and they started training at the Tigres facility, and after a day training there, they decided that the Tigres facility was not up to par and moved over to the Rayados facility, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm sure the locals were, well, some of the locals were thrilled about that. A lot of banter out of that.
Tigers fans will never hear the end of that.
Nope. Good. I like banter stuff like that. But I mean, for me, this is Holland, Japan 1 and 2. Pick your order. Sweden probably beats Tunisia. Maybe scrapes a draw against one of the other two. The question for me is whether Sweden gets out as a third place or not.
I think the biggest question for the Netherlands is can they conserve energy in this group and just kind of like coast to winning it? Because I kind of feel like they can.
They could. Who knows? Like I said, we'll visit the Dutch bus, and I'll report back on the fan sentiment at some point. Oh, all right. Let's move on.
Group G has the funniest game of the World Cup, Iran versus Egypt, which is Pride Day in Seattle. That was pre-selected before the groups came out. But Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand, I would say it would be very surprising if Belgium doesn't win this group. Iran is probably the second most talented team, but with all the bullshit they're going through, they're going to have really good crowd support in LA. But I also think that I would not be surprised to see them finish last in this group because the soccer is not what becomes the priority. I mean, they did not look good in their last friendly against Gambia. Like, I can understand if their heads are not in the right place.
Well, Seth, you also said they're having to fly in and out of the country same day, right?
I mean, like, flying from Tijuana to LA is not, but it's still same-day travel's not ideal.
But it's Tijuana up to Seattle as well.
For one of the matches, yeah.
That's not the shortest flight in the world.
I've done San Diego to Seattle, so yeah. Not great.
No. And I mean, it is unfair what they're having to deal with. Which I'm with you. Like, unfair or not, it's going to affect them on the field. Like, I guess you could say maybe it's going to charge them up more, but I'm with you. I think that's fucking them over, and it's not fair. But it is going to fuck them over. I'm very curious to see Egypt, who is a team that does really well in like AFCON, for example, but doesn't tend to qualify for a lot of World Cups. And you can tell us more than anyone, Seth, that Salah did not have his greatest year of all time.
But you know what? Mo Salah is looking for a contract right now.
I think he'll get one.
I think he will too.
He is most.
I mean, he's also got to be feeling himself because he seemingly put the nail in the coffin on Slot getting fired.
He did.
It was it was a master stroke.
I mean, just the timing of that, you can't discount that.
I'm out the
He
door,
used
but
the
so
ball.
are you.
Yeah.
Does Mo Salah like Verde and Black? I'm just saying. If he's looking for a contract, I got at least $20.
He is the most popular player by a very wide margin in the Arabic-speaking world. So if he doesn't go get an infinity $1 trillion in Saudi Arabia, I will be shocked.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. All right, moving
on. Group H is, we've talked about this group a fair bit: Spain, Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. If it's not Spain and Uruguay 1 or 2 in some combo, and Cabo Verde and Saudi Arabia 3 and 4 in some combo, it'd be quite surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is Cabo Verde gets third. The Blue Sharks, there are some great, team names in the World Cup, almost all of them from Africa. The Indomitable Lions, one of my favorites. Cote d'Ivoire's the Elephants. So, we hope they're going to do well, sort of like we'll talk about Curacao in a minute, but these like micronations that people never think about. I think, I don't like the expanded World Cup, but I do like, hey, these folks are actually going to get to see their team on the world's biggest stage. But I think Seth nailed the order. Spain, Uruguay, again, this could be a 7-7. They tie and it, depends on goal difference, and both teams will probably be fine with that. And I think we might see more like kind of dead rubber end of group games, which is disappointing because that was always some of the funnest parts of the definitely the last World Cup and ones before. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Any Cabo Verde or general thoughts? Going once, going twice. Bueller.
Oh, I was going to say, I think that the Cabo Verde Saudi Arabia game could be really interesting because both those teams really need to try to get 3 points there if they want to advance. That might be a really fun, that might be really fun of just watching two teams just really going for 3.
Yeah, it's 2-2 in the 85th minute, and everybody has every attacker on the field. And
that is a match that could be chaos out of hand.
Yeah, and you might get a chaos match as one of the cheapest matches to get into this year, too.
Yeah, I think there's a big group going to Houston for it, so let us know if you guys want to do some sort of pregame thing. I think there's something in the works, but I don't have details yet. All right, moving on.
Group I is going to be one of the most fun groups. We have France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. The Iraqi team is pretty solid, but that's going to be a tough group to get out of.
Yeah, Senegal, reigning African champions, maybe, depending on who you ask. I know Scott's big on Norway. I think Senegal gets second in this group.
If it's a Senegal team that played against the U.S. last week, they're getting third in this group.
Yeah. Brad?
Is it Senegal? I'm trying to make sure I have the country right. Who has the fan that's bringing the delegation that's bringing the fan who stands
that's Congo. That's K.
Congo.
We'll get to them.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure because I knew I was going to screw that up. But I'm very excited, and I've already seen folks on Twitter basically saying or other websites hey, I'm going to try to get to go to see this guy.
I will get to see him in 10 days, and I'm very much
take all the pictures.
Yes.
I couldn't quite catch it. What is this fan doing?
He just stands still at attention for the entire match and doesn't move.
It's a statue of a famous political leader.
Casa?
I believe so.
Of Luamba.
Okay.
Yeah. And he just stands like this the entire game. Doesn't move.
Good. Maybe we can get one of the French fans to get painted silver and do that as a little fake robot. I'm the only one here who's ever seen Euro Trip. Okay.
No, we all know what you're referencing. No, I actually think this might be the most fun / potentially chaotic group because I feel like this is one of the few groups where I feel like every team could actually win a match.
Yeah. And that's what I like about the U.S. group, too, is 9 or 0, both on the table for pretty much any team. All right, let's move on.
Group J, Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan.
I will confess I don't really know anything about Jordan.
It's Jordan's first time making the World Cup. They probably, they played very well in their third stage Asian qualifying to finish second in the group, so they didn't have to go through more playoffs to do that. I just think that this might be too hard of a task for them.
Yeah, I do worry about them and Iraq, who I know are both like, Iraq I know for sure is a solid team and have been for a while. But they're very, very defensive, and I do wonder how that would work. Um, we'll see. Austria has been kind of in that same world that Belgium was for a while, where they were like everybody's dark horses and never really fully lived up to it. So I guess we'll see. But I'm with you. Like I think they're getting out of this group, and then we'll see.
Yeah, see, to me, this group is an Argentina that scores 9 and everybody else is scrapping points.
Well, I mean, Seth pointed out Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the last World Cup. As long as they get out of the group, I don't think they care. Like you see this in teams like PSG and Champions League, where they're like, well, I don't give a shit if I finish second or eighth or 14th. Like I'm gonna go beat everybody in the knockout stage. So
Yeah, 5 minutes. Okay. I'm getting a warning here, but yeah. So let's knock out these last two groups, and then we probably need to wrap here.
Yep.
Group K, we've got Portugal, Congo, Uzbekistan, Colombia. This is another, just like the Spain Uruguay group, that Portugal and Colombia should finish top two. Congo, Uzbekistan fight out for third, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have a very fun last day match between Congo and Uzbekistan. That's similar to Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, to potentially make it through.
Yeah, and in the interest of time, we talked about Portugal enough, so moving on.
And then our last group, Group L, is another top-heavy group with England, Croatia, and then a Ghana team that fired their coach in the last couple months, and then a Panama team that, if Coco Carrasquilla is hurt, is going to be in a world of trouble.
Sorry, breaking news, but Jaden Nelson has been added to the Canadian World Cup roster officially.
Hey,
Now what we got to do is Facundo's not on Uruguay yet, right?
But I think he might get called in before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I think Group L is interesting, and we haven't really talked about England that much. I think England is going to struggle more than people think, because I just don't like their team construction, and I'm not a fan of Tuchel as a coach.
No, it's going to be very defensive. You and I talked about this at golf yesterday. If he has to reclaim the lead, if they go down early, they're in trouble.
Yeah, they are a team that especially has to get up a goal. And as soon as they are down, if they're trying to chase the game, they're out. They have no chance. They do not have the subs to do it. Tuchel did not have a roster that has a plan B to it. Like they are not the kind of like strong England team that even like last World Cup where there were semifinalists. I think like I would be very surprised if they get that. I'd be very surprised if they got that far.
I mean, Ghana and Panama situations right now. It's sad that it's happening because this group had all the potential for chaos factor.
Yeah.
Panama has CONCACAF. Ghana, historically pretty good team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think since I know we're losing Seth soon, we're gonna have to. We'll come back and talk a lot of shit about England on another episode. That will
But
be.
you know what? If they draw an opening match or they lose to Croatia and see where it starts going, and just watching the English fans melt down is always hilarious.
Pretty solid historical bogey team for England and Croatia too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's kind of wrap up with this. Brad, who is going to win the World Cup?
I said it's coming from CONMEBOL. I don't think anybody's spectacular this year. I'm going to go with the defending champs. Give me Argentina.
Okay, I could see it. Seth?
As much as I don't like this, I still think Brazil gets into the right rhythm at the right time, and they can. Carlo Ancelotti knows how to win. As much as I hate it, like I could see them catching fire and winning this World Cup.
Brazil's midfield causes me a lot of pain.
It causes me a lot of pain too, but like they have enough players that can figure this out in key moments.
Yeah, well, like we've said, like everybody has a bunch of big flaws. There's no like super team this time.
No.
Scott, who's winning the World Cup?
I'm taking Spain. I just think they have too much depth, and they ultimately only are really going to need Yamal toward the end, and he'll probably be helped by them.
Yeah, I was hoping I would have an answer by the time we got to me, but I don't. So I'm actually, I think, going to echo what Seth said and go with Brazil, because historically European teams do not win the World Cup outside of Europe. Germany in 2014, a few other examples, but I think France has problems. Spain's backline, if you rough them up a little bit, and we're going to have, I assume, CONCACAF refereeing. I know they're worldwide officials, but they're all pretty light touch. but I don't know, and that's kind of fun. Like the past few, they've been huge favorites, but I think I'm going to steal Seth's answer and say Brazil.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm sure we'll record occasionally throughout the tournament as we see fun things around, and should be a fun tournament, and hopefully the rest of the world doesn't overshadow our own stupidity.
Yeah, and I mean, if anybody who's going to games wants to send in some live stuff, we'll go ahead and put it on the Blue Sky at Suffering Pod. And we will save our moments of suffering because this is the fun pre-tournament part of the event. So anything else we want to get out? I guess we don't have time to talk about the CFL today, but listeners, stay tuned. We'll keep you going. All right, on behalf of Scott, Seth, and Brad, thanks for suffering with us. Bye.
Promise here for Austin Jarrett Stroud. It's Diego, for goodness! He has written his name into Austin folklore. They just won't go away. Oh, he hits the upright again. That's impossible.
The Bears' season's going to end on a double doink.
Altidore spurs it. Dempsey's missed it. Donovan has it. From hope, there is glory.